When I think about great tournament arcs, my mind immediately goes to the great Dragon Ball Tenkaichi tournaments, Naruto's tuning exams. What doesn't come to mind is Western media or Western comics. DC has recently launched a tournament event called DCKO, and it is the worst attempt at a tournament arc that I have ever seen, and a perfect example of why the Western comic book business cannot do tournaments like this. As of right now, it's October 25th. We've pretty much only gotten the setup for DCKO. You don't know the story of DCKO, Darkseid is coming back more powerful than ever. The only way to combat him is to absorb the Omega energy at the heart of Apocalypse. This will turn that person into King Omega, hence DCKO. However, the heart has a mind of its own, and will only allow the greatest champion to take its energy. So, all the heroes pack in their most badass gear and engage in a tournament arc. This sounds like an amazing setup, and we were promised a lot of really great matches. I was so excited to see these seemingly disparate characters put together and forced to battle, taking in all of their lore, power scaling, and feats into a canonical death battle. The problem is, DC has spoiled everything all the way up to the third tier of the tournament. That's right, before the first match has even officially begun, we already know what the first and second tier results are. That is idiotic. Why in the world? What possesses a person to create a tournament arc, to hype up these battles between these legendary figures, and let everyone know who's going to win months from now by soliciting variant covers that spoil everything? I don't get it. It has killed any excitement of DCKO for me. I really don't need to read. I'm definitely not buying any of it. Now, big Western comic companies have done this for a long time, soliciting covers and summaries of comics months before their actual release. I have always had a problem with this practice, and DCKO has exemplified why this is such a horrible way to do things. Knowing what happens 5 months in advance kills any and all suspense, intrigue, or even the ability for fans to get together and continuously argue and debate over which character will come out on top. There's no reason to do that anymore. We know who's going to win. From my perspective, it spells out the vision that DC has of its comics. The stories really don't matter. DC is fully willing to put out massive press releases spoiling events for months to come. In a lot of other mediums, like, let's say, movies, TV shows, or even video games, sometimes copies of the movie will leak, a copy of the game online will be released, it'll be cracked early, scripts will be released, there'll be spoilers the day of. But a lot of that comes from leakers or people doing things illegally in order to get their hands on this information. And as such, it's a lot easier to avoid it. DC is pretty much officially leaking its own content. It's so asinine. And the thing is, they didn't have to do any of this. They could have just kept the months of comics in advance a secret just for this one event. They could have chosen that, but they didn't. And that spells out that it just doesn't matter. Yes, there is still, I guess, some thrill in actually seeing how these characters win, but knowing who wins takes out like half the enjoyment. You're watching football, and you already know what team is going to win at the end. That just takes a lot of the excitement out of it. There's no anticipation. Nothing. Truth is, Western comics have never been that good with action, especially when compared to its Japanese manga counterparts. So the idea of a fully one-on-one action-focused fighting event was already a hard sell. This is just the nail in the coffin. This whole event has just put a really bad taste in my mouth. And the fact that they're shoving in, like, the absolute universe with it, and a bunch of other random characters like it's Fortnite, really lets me know that this truly does not matter. Like, nobody gives a damn about this.
It don't matter. None of this matters.
I've already released about 2 shorts on DCKO, and I was planning on covering some of the matches, seeing if I think they were actually fair fights, if they make sense within the lore of the characters and their powers. But at this point, honestly, I think I'm actually boycotting DCKO. This is so bad and stupid. I have no reason to buy this. I have no reason to read it. There can no longer be surprises. There can no longer be twists. Nothing matters. Don't care. Not into it. Don't want to know what happens. Don't want to read the story. The story doesn't matter. It's almost entirely telegraphed that Superman's gonna win at the end anyway. Who cares? Goodbye. The end. That's my rant on DCKO. If you like this, please like and subscribe. You know, do all that stuff. Keep on reading.